You ready?
Yeah, what we're gonna do is we're gonna take a selfie on stage so that you guys are all in it, because I figured then you all have your picture with KD. So I'm gonna tiptoe.
All right, there we go.
Awesome, thanks, man. Yes. Get it out. All right. Okay. So, to start, there was a little bit of news yesterday. I don't know if you're aware.
Yeah, I am.
The thing is, you have never been afraid to clap back, right? You say what's on your mind.
Yeah.
You get it out there. You know, critics can F-word themselves, right?
Yeah.
And there are these accusations that you're creating other fake Twitter accounts and Instagram accounts to defend yourself. What happened? What's going on?
I do have another Instagram account, but that's just for my friends and family. So I wouldn't say I was using that to clap back at anybody, but I use Twitter to engage with the fans. I think it's a great way to engage with, basketball fans. But I happen to take it a little too far, and that's what happens sometimes when I get into these basketball debates or, what I really love is just to play basketball. I went a little too far, and I don't regret clapping back at anybody or talking to my fans on Twitter. I do regret using my former coach's name and that former organization that I played for. That was childish, that was idiotic, all those type of words. I regret doing that, and I apologize to him for doing that, but I don't think I'll ever stop engaging with my fans. I think they really enjoy it, and I think it's a good way to connect us all. But I'll scale back a little bit right now and just focus on playing basketball. So I want to move on from that. It was tough to deal with yesterday. I was really upset with myself, but definitely want to move on and keep playing basketball. But I still want to interact with my fans as well.
Cool. All right, so there you have it. Let's move on to startups and investment, yeah? What do you think the deal is with all these pro athletes investing in startups and becoming tech investors? It's a huge thing right now.
Well, I mean, just the world we live in now. Tech is a huge deal, and guys coming in and out of this area a lot to play, and they see how much these startups have affected the world in general, and guys want to be a part of change, and I think that's a great thing to think outside of the basketball realm and try to impact some people's lives in a different way. So more power to athletes and anybody that's trying to get into this world. It's definitely tough, but a lot of guys have dreams of doing so.
What you guys have the Durant Company, which is kind of an umbrella corporation, and it invests in companies. I think you've made around 30 investments so far. Most of them are tech, some of them are hospitality, etc. The headliners are Postmates, Acorns, Rubric, and Players Tribune. What is the size of the fund? What is the strategy? I mean, we don't know a whole lot about it. What's the strategy there?
I wouldn't necessarily call it a fund. I think the way we've looked at it, and this started back before Kevin even moved out to the Bay, was that Kevin is fortunate to make a great deal of money playing basketball off the court through endorsements, but in some ways he's an entrepreneur in himself. He's somebody that believed in himself at a young age and had to work hard and really achieved his goal through hard work and dedication and focus, and was always attracted to the same kind of entrepreneurs in the tech world. So we always dove into it a bit before we moved out here. What we did when we moved out here was really just allocate a portion of our finance and said, you know what, let's look at private equity at the very early stages. We're fortunate to have met some people out here that really took us under their wing and really opened up the flow of deals for us to start to look at. In the beginning, we really slow-stepped it. We knew that our biggest strength was knowing what we didn't know, and we by no means wanted to walk into these rooms and pretend that we were Silicon Valley experts and that we understood everything that was going on out here. What we did know was that we felt confident that we could identify a good concept. We felt confident that we could identify a good executive team. And I think at first, we really focused on angel investing because of that. Because at that point, it was less about the finance and the analytics and the due diligence on the company and really about the concept and the team we are investing in. As we got more experience in a short time and really learned on the job and became sponges for information, we really started looking a little bit further into our investment range, into the Series A range. And at that point, we have a team in place that will work with us closely on doing the due diligence and analytics and making sure it's the right investment. But at the end of the day, at the level that we're investing in, we really bank it on our instinct, our gut, if it's something that we could either A, utilize in our life, or if we've really connected with the executive team. And I think that, like I said, we're fortunate to see great deals, but at the end of the day, it really relies on the two of us to make that final decision on whether we think that it's something that we could put our money behind, and a lot of times becomes Kevin's name behind it. So it's really more of a just private equity fund than it is like a fund where we'll be investing outside of that.
Are there, you mentioned a team that helps you do due diligence and stuff like that. Are they also LPs in the Durant Company, or is it just the two of you that are going in on this? And what percentage of your wealth are you kind of risking in this way?
Well, the team, I mean, we look at, yes, they're a part of the Durant Company, but it's a financial analyst, it's our legal analyst, and a lot of times it's some of the friends and kind of colleagues that we have from out here. Now, I don't know how sustainable that is long term, but we have been able to lean on some great people out here, but we've built up that infrastructure right now for us to analyze those deals in place. And I think from a percentage of net worth, I mean, listen, these are startup investments, so we understand the risk at hand, and even in the Series A round, these are startups in some ways, and we understand the risk at hand. But we believe in the ability of these entrepreneurs, but Kevin's not looking at 50% of his net worth being invested in this. Our investments on the angel rounds run from $50,000 to $250,000, and then the A rounds from $250,000 to about $2 million. So, and over a course of a year, we'll put a small percentage of our net worth that we can put towards these deals, and then continue to build with these companies in case there's additional funding needed at the B and C round, and if we feel like that there's something that we could play a part in.
Right. Describe a little bit the process when you guys are coming up with a new deal. Who's more likely to say, "Oh, I found something really cool, let's talk about it"? Who's more likely to say no? I mean, what are those conversations like?
Well, Rich does a lot of, bringing things to the table and consulting with me on different things and telling me what I need to know, because I'm still learning this business as well. And I have a job, which is to play basketball, and he does such a great job on the other side of keeping me aware of everything that's going on. So he brings deals to the table, and if it's something I'm passionate about, something I love, or something that may have affected me growing up that I wish to change, we talk about it, and sometimes, most of the time, we just come to a perfect agreement, and I trust his instincts, he trusts mine, and that's what makes a great team.
Yeah, let's talk a little bit about y'all's relationship. I mean, how did you guys meet? How did you come to be such a pair? I mean, Rich and KD, they go together, right? I think you even live in next door to him half the time. I mean, talking on the phone all the time.
Yeah.
How did you get there?
Well, we met through a mutual friend. He was 18 and I was 30. I'm 12 years older than him. So there was really no reason at that point in our careers for us to keep in touch, outside of the fact that I was a basketball junkie and we really hit it off. Our lives weren't intersecting. We weren't living in the same city. But for some reason, we always kept in touch, and I always checked in with him after a game, or would run into him at an event. And we always just had a unique kind of friendship, and I think we always felt like that would lead somewhere. When I was able to transition into sports, which is where I had always wanted to be from the music business, the first call that we made as an organization was to Kevin. And I think at the time we really had thought we had no chance to work with someone his caliber. As successful as our company and agency at the time had been, to jump right into sports and think you could get someone of the caliber of Kevin Durant was pretty naive. But I think that it was a testament to the trust we had built up in our friendship that he gave us a real opportunity. And I think that what we always thought was going to come about really just hit the ground running as soon as we started working together. And it really wasn't a feeling out process. It really felt like we kind of got each other. And I utilized that same rapport in investing, because we have so many things that we have to go over. We still have brand deals that we do. We have content that we're developing. We have a foundation, which is really first and foremost outside of basketball for our attention. And then we have his basketball business, and none of this is possible unless he's playing basketball, and we get that. So as a group, our first job is to make sure he's serviced as a basketball player and as an individual, and that career is managed, because if he's not on the court doing his job, none of this is possible. So what I have to do when that time that I'm given to talk to him about these deals is to really put it quick to him, explain the concept, figure out if it's the right company to introduce him to the executive team. And if I can't in one sentence explain the company and get the reaction out of him where his eyes open up and he wants to meet them, that's usually a no for me. Because if I can't explain it in one sentence, then the regular consumer is not going to understand it in one sentence. And that's kind of like our first line of defense.
That's cool. Tell me a little bit about 35 Media and distributing all your content through YouTube. Why that way?
Well, I thought it was interesting that when you go into YouTube, you know, if I wanted to look at a highlight of myself or anything that's that people film of me, you know, it's all controlled by someone else in YouTube, and I wanted to have a chance to kind of like tell my own story a little bit and tell who I am and what I do and what I love to do. And you know, we had an opportunity to meet with YouTube and Neil Mohan and Susan, and we had a meeting. It just seemed so perfect that I can kind of streamline everything I want to be put out by myself, and I want it to be controlled by me. And once we started the YouTube page, 35 Media started to, you know, it grew from there. We didn't have any plans of kind of starting our own media company, but once we've seen the reaction to our YouTube page, you know, we try to hit the ground running and try to build this thing up.
For a long time, I think when you were at the Oklahoma City, you were seen as kind of like this nice, quiet guy, and that was your brand. And you made the move over here to the Golden State Warriors, and I think critics really villainized you, and you almost kind of fell into that role in a way. As an investor, do you see yourself as the nice, quiet guy, or do you see yourself as, you know, more of a cutthroat businessman?
I mean, I like to see myself, when I play basketball, I enjoy it and I respect it and I play as hard as I can, but I know that my skills can take over at any point. So when I'm in this world, I try to be a great teammate. I try to listen, try to learn as much as I can. But if it's something I know, I try to jump on it and do it as hard as I can as well. But at the same time, I know coming into this environment that I'm not the smartest, I'm not the best, I'm not the strongest just yet, but I'm learning and I continue to grow. And that's the same approach I took as a growing basketball player. So if I had that approach in this life, I know it can grow into something huge, and then you'll see the real personality that I have as far as, you know, wanting to be the best at something.
A lot of startups, when they're looking to raise a round of funding, they think, okay, these investors have this other company that I like to partner with in their portfolio, or this investor has, you know, founded 3 companies in e-commerce, so they'll know what we're doing, right? What is your pitch to the companies that you want to invest in? What you say, well, here's what I bring to the table that no other investor will.
Well, we don't pitch them.
They pitch you.
No, I mean, I feel like at the stage that we're doing this, and as much as novices as we still are, you know, I think we've done a great job in a year, but it's humbling, you know, to like read the article that was in San Francisco Magazine today, because in some ways I feel like this is still incredibly brand new to us. But, you know, I think we've set the stage to be able to be successful in this world. But if an investor, I think at the stages that we're investing, doesn't see the same kind of benefit in us that we see in them, and that they don't understand why this could be a strategic partnership, or A, or B, that they don't take us as seriously as any other investor at this level, then really don't feel the need to chase that deal down. I can only think of maybe one deal where I was asked to really sell ourselves on why we should get in, and the person who told me to do it was like the equivalent of the Michael Jordan of this world out here, and I don't want to name names, and he said, you guys need to get in this deal, pitch him. So at that point I pitched him, but outside of that, we've never really done that, because I think it's got to feel as natural as it feels for us when we get involved with the company.
That makes sense. Do you think you'd be investing and doing the same thing if you were in Oklahoma City, or is the move to Silicon Valley really exposed you to all this and gotten you excited?
It definitely helped. I mean, we started off doing stuff, investing a little bit in OKC and thinking about it and wanting to move in that direction. But if you come out here, it's obvious that you'll be just entrenched in this community, and You know, they all come to the games. You know, these guys come to the games. They come to all the, you know, Warrior events. And it's kind of easy to be in that crowd now. So, and it's always been a passion of ours to get into the tech world. And now that we're here, we want to continue to stay here and be good people and do things the right way and do things our way.
And I think that, like, we invest in companies that are outside of tech. We've invested in a pizza franchise called Pieology, which has over, I think, 100 locations right now and growing. We invested in Watermelon Water. I think those kind of deals and the bigger brand tech companies like Postmates, we probably would have continued to build our portfolio out of. But there was no introductions to autonomous drones in Oklahoma City. That was not happening. So clearly, we've been introduced to a whole new world, and that has elevated the portfolio to things like that, which we just never would have seen.
Definitely accelerated things.
Yes.
Okay, so we're going to do something. I did this last year with Steph Curry. It's called the lightning round. I'm going to ask you an either-or question, and you are allowed to not answer one.
All right.
Okay. Twitter or Instagram?
YouTube.
I'm not answering that one.
I don't know if you want to give it away so quick, buddy.
Twitter.
There we go. Xbox or PS4?
Xbox.
Grand Theft Auto or NBA 2K?
2K.
Okay. Warriors or the Thunder? I love that face. Okay, so I had to. Hotel or Airbnb?
Hotel.
Hotel. I know you are an accredited photographer for the Players Tribune. Nikon, Sony, or Canon?
Nikon.
iPhone or Android?
iPhone.
Easy one.
Easy.
Would you rather be in deep space or deep sea?
I'm sorry?
Would you rather be in deep space or deep sea?
Oh, that's a great question. I'd rather be in deep space. Space, yeah.
That away. Are you more likely to Netflix and chill or be out at a party?
Netflix.
I know you have both of these cars. Ferrari or your Model S?
Model S.
It's the right answer for this crowd.
Yeah,
Good work.
Yeah. True.
Nailed it. Baseball or football?
Football.
Would you rather be wearing a hoodie or a suit?
A hoodie.
Yeah. Call or text?
FaceTime audio.
Truth or dare?
Same thing. Dare.
Dare?
Truth.
I should have had a dare ready, man. Okay. Just a couple more, and then we'll be done. In the tech world, we are in the midst of a long overdue kind of revolution when it comes to equality and taking care of inclusiveness. No more discrimination or harassment, or at least we're trying to. What do you guys make of that as it's happening live in front of you?
I think the direction we're going in as a world, we're starting to think about these things now, and it makes for great conversation. It makes for finding some amazing people, and I think it's a lot of people out there, no matter what color they are, what they believe in, that have great ideas that want to push the envelope and want to change the world, and I think we should listen to them. Simple as that.
Do you guys have a policy in place to invest in female founders or people of color?
No, we don't have a policy. I think that we are obviously wide open, and a lot of times some of the African American run tech companies and the concepts they have really gravitated towards Kevin's understanding of the culture and the upbringing. We invested in a company called Propel, which is an online food stamp technology, and Kevin could really understand why that was so important to keep that process anonymous, understanding it from growing up. And I think that's something we gravitate to. But I will say that we don't have a policy, but probably two of the most impressive people we've met in Silicon Valley, hands down, have been women. And it's unfortunate that some of the startups that we've been introduced to haven't been more female-run companies. And I think probably we should be looking further into that and looking to get involved and get introduced to more of them.
And my last question's the same one that I asked Steph Curry, which is, you play basketball, you deal with refs, sometimes they make the right call, sometimes they don't. You know what's possible with machine learning and AI. I'm sure you've learned a lot about that, recently. Mm-hmm. Would you rather have AI-powered refs?
No, I'd rather keep it to I'd rather keep it at the human judgment. I feel as though they're doing a great job anyway. So if you get the AI refs, they'll call every touch foul, and I get away with a lot. So I'm sure they'll catch me a little bit more than a human ref. So I'll stick to what we got now.
All right, cool. All right, that's it for Kevin. So Kevin and Rich, thank you so much for coming. I appreciate it. Thank you, buddy. Thank you.